Hello, my name is Safi. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a new reading vlog. This week, I'm planning on reading short horror books because I have a bunch which I've been saving up for this time of year and I can't wait to get to them. So I know that a lot of people have been doing this type of video recently. I've seen a bunch with a lot of the same books too, but I guess it's because they've just all come out recently and everybody's excited about them, and I feel like I'm missing out by not reading them immediately. So let's just walk through what I'm thinking of reading this week. The first book that I really want to read in this vlog is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. I just love this cover, like a lot. And the back too has like little mushrooms, and if you don't know it about me, I'm like a bit of a mushroom nerd. I love identifying mushrooms, I love foraging for mushrooms. So yeah, I can't wait to see if the mushrooms play a role. Also, I mean, if it's set in a cemetery, if it's spooky, one dark October evening, they find a freshly dug grave where no grave should be. What secrets are lurking in the dark? They have until dawn to find out. And if that doesn't sound like exactly my type of book, then I don't know what is. Then next, I'd like to read Guillotine by Delilah Dawson, because I've read and loved Bloom by her before, so I was thinking, yeah, I've got to pick this up and read it. Plus, I have heard a bit of mixed reviews about this. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. And now we got The Night Guest by Hildur Knútsdóttir. So I also hope to be able to get to this. It's also horror, it's also short. Dark things can happen on a long, cold Icelandic night. And it's been a while since I read a book by an Icelandic author. I have read a lot of Icelandic literature because I studied Nordic literature, so literature from Northern Europe, which includes Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland mostly. I studied that at university, so I read quite a lot of Icelandic literature, and I love most of the Icelandic literature that I read. I also studied Icelandic for one semester at university, and I love the language. I hope that there's going to be some nice atmosphere and some, I don't know, something that makes me feel like picking up more Icelandic books, maybe. I'd love that. So yeah, I can't wait to jump right into this one, which might just end up being the first one that I pick up in this vlog because I have the audiobook for it from the library. And then I really want to listen to the audiobook for Feed Them Silence by Mandelo, because it's on Everend and I've been wanting to read that for so long. So, because I have loved one book by Mandelo, The Woods All Black, and I have enjoyed Summer Suns, but I didn't love it. So I feel like Feed Them Silence might be another win, since it's also a bit on the shorter side. Of course, it's a novella. And I feel like maybe Mandelo is better at shorter, more atmospheric books. I've heard that Feed Them Silence is also pretty atmospheric. Also, I have no idea what any of these books are about, so I might tell you the plot when I actually get to reading them. I'm in the middle of a different book on my Kindle, which I've been reading a bit like in the background, just as a bit of a filler between other books. When I finish books that require some brain power, a few brain cells to be working up there, and I don't want to start another one right away after it, I tend to just gravitate towards some silly reads on my Kindle. So I'm currently in the middle of this one book called She Came for Blood, which it's not a novella, so I don't know whether to count it for this vlog or not. Also, I've been, as I said, I've been reading it in the background for like a week or so now. So yeah, it's going pretty slowly for me because I only read it a little bit every now and then, but it's like a sapphic romantasy type book. It's a vampire romance between the vampire queen and this one girl that initially intends to kill her, and then of course, obviously, she doesn't. That is how the romance starts. And it's very, very spicy too. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. It's not the best I've read, but I just wanted something silly and just that requires no brain power. So that's what I've been reading in the background. I would like to finish it, but we'll have to see if there's time for that. So, because it's going to be a pretty busy week, this one as well. I'm gonna go start reading in a little bit. I was at a Halloween party last night and I'm still kind of feeling it. I had so little sleep before anything. Maybe I just need to just take a good nap and then maybe I'll start the night guest. So that's the plan for today. Good morning. It's the next day and I'm here because yesterday I managed to finish these two. So that's a good start. It didn't take me that long to read them because I used the audiobook for both of them. And this one in particular was very short. Like I read this in about an hour because it does look like it's going to take longer. But then there's a bunch of chapters that are just like one sentence or few sentences, like literally there's a lot of blank space. So it goes by very quickly. So yeah, this one was the first one I finished. I gave it a 4-star. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like my new favorite thing. It was fine. It was fast-paced, it was mysterious, it had like a lot of cool elements, although it did have a couple of scenes of some pretty extreme trigger warnings regarding animal death and animal cruelty, so just be aware of that if you're planning on picking this up. It's about a woman, Hildur. She has been having trouble with her sleep. Like she doesn't sleep well and she's always exhausted. She has like this constant fatigue. So she goes to the doctor. She used to go to a doctor that did not understand her, who was not maybe even trying to understand her and give her the right treatment, who was a older man, and then she changes doctor to go to a younger woman who does actually listen to her without jumping to "you're hysterical" right away. So yeah, it started strong. The doctor runs some exams on her, but nothing comes out wrong, like her blood test and all of the other exams that they do come out just fine. So they're still like wondering what's going on. And the doctor suggests to try some type of cognitive therapy, psychotherapy, to help with stress and maybe to sleep better. Even doesn't do it. And instead she decides to listen to a friend of hers who tells her to do some physical activity because she will be more tired and maybe fall asleep. In any case, she buys this watch that tracks your step count. this smartwatch. And one night she leaves this watch on her wrist when she goes to sleep, and the next morning she finds out that during the night she has apparently walked like 40,000 steps. So that would explain why she's so tired all the time, if she's getting up during the night and walking so much. But she's like, well, where did I go? What did I do? Because she doesn't remember anything, of course. And then like the mystery starts from there. The story kind of keeps spiraling from there. And it's great, although the ending is kind of a bit of an open ending. So if you don't like that, this book is not going to be for you. I like open endings most of the time. But this was still kind of frustrating because I wanted answers and I didn't get them. I wanted at least something, right? But no. So that was an experience. But yeah, as I said, I had a good time with it. I enjoyed the commentary on women's health. And I feel like this novel also has some type of commentary on women's autonomy and when it comes to specifically their bodies, and like if we can control our own bodies or if it's others that control them, because this book contained several different types of instances where bodily autonomy is taken away. I felt like that was actually a pretty good commentary. I appreciated that a lot. I would recommend it if you are not particularly triggered by animal cruelty and death, and if you're okay with an open ending. Just those two things are kind of fundamental if you're going to enjoy this. I know this has a pretty low average rating, so yeah, I think there's a lot of people who don't like those things, but in any case, it's not a huge waste of time because it's so short. And then next, I read Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. Okay, so this book has a bit of mixed reviews. It has a much higher rating than The Night Guest, but still not the highest. Or I think it has like a 4 point something average rating, so not too bad. But I've heard just as many people saying that they didn't like this as people saying that they loved it. This is a book about a woman named Des who has ambitions within the fashion industry, specifically the high fashion industry. She wants to become a fashion designer, work for a fashion magazine, something like that. And in order to do this, since it's very, very difficult to actually find a job in this world, she decides to start dating the son of one of these big fashion icons who owns like a fashion magazine or something, so that she might get introduced to her and potentially land a job within that magazine thing. So only problem is that this man that she starts dating just to get to know his mother is a bit of an asshole. And so is his entire family. So when she goes to visit them to get introduced to the family on their own private island, because they're like mega rich, to get introduced to the family for, I think they're there for the holidays or something. And once she gets there, she figures that there is something terribly, terribly wrong, both with the family and with the staff working there. Like, I don't know, it gave me a bit of vibes as if it was a cult, because they have all of these extremely strict rules and traditions and how to do everything, and every single person in the staff had the same clothes, like the same color of clothes and the same uniforms. I just really, really enjoyed it. And then, of course, bloody mayhem things start to happen because this is a horror and it's Delilah Dawson. the author of Bloom. I don't know if you've read Bloom, you know what I mean. She really goes there. This was very gory. I loved it. It reminded me, in a way, a little bit of Smashed and Dissolving Classroom by Junji Ito, although this wasn't paranormal or anything. So, but just like for the fun, everybody dies type of vibes. Of course, not everybody dies in this one, but it was just so much fun. Like, I was hooked. I would recommend this. I gave it 4.5, I think. Don't expect, of course, the same vibes as Bloom. If you like gory, fun, revenge stories, this one might be for you. Today's the 28th of October, so soon it will be Halloween and we have acquired a pumpkin to carve. So hopefully that's going to get done tonight. So of course you're going to get to see that when it happens, but yeah, just I better get going with all of the things I have to do today, or I am literally never going to be done with it. I guess I'll update you when I have more thoughts to share. Hello vlog, it's the next day, it's what is it, Tuesday, and I'm here for a little bit of an update because, well, I have gotten halfway through Graveyard Shift and I'm loving it so much. Like, I'd heard several people say that this wasn't that good. Like, I don't know if it's because I haven't read If We Were Villains. That's more difficult to say than I expected. But I haven't read that yet. But I definitely want to, now that I've started reading this and it's so good. I don't know, I've mentioned several times that I'm a bit of a mushroom nerd. That could be why I'm enjoying this so much. And also the imagery with the cemetery and the decaying buildings and the mold and mycelia. I am loving this. Like, as I said, I'm halfway through and it could be a 5-star. Like, I'm feeling the 5-star energy for now from this. It's so good. Like, both the mystery and the characters, their dynamics with each other, their personalities, and the way this is structured, and all of the elements of, like, science. Not to go too deep into the plot, obviously, but because it's a short book and I would hate to spoil anything. But there is an element of mycology and there's some mystery involving some rats, which hence the cover, I guess. I am so happy. Like, I wasn't expecting to love this book so much. I would love to finish this today, which pretty sure is going to be possible. I have the whole day for once to just read, or almost all day, but yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to continue this, but first I wanted to do a little quick update because yesterday we carved a pumpkin. I might have already included the footage of that. It was fun. We made it look like a little kitty because I just found a picture of pumpkin that was made to look like a cat, and I just thought it was so cute, and so we just went for it. When we were deciding what to make our jack-o'-lantern into. We didn't know whether we wanted to make like a horror jack-o'-lantern. I saw one that was kind of creepy, in which they'd use some toothpicks as teeth and like broke the toothpicks and just put it like as teeth all around the mouth of the jack-o'-lantern, and we wanted to do that, but then we found out that we had no toothpicks. So then I guess it just ended up being cute instead of horror, but it's okay. I love it. Actually, it's so fucking cute. While we were carving the pumpkin, we watched It, Volume 1. I had only previously watched the older film for It, and I've read the book. I had so much fun watching that, and tonight we're planning on watching chapter 2. So the other day we also watched Terrifier for the first time, because Terrifier 3 has just come out recently, so we were thinking of maybe going to see it at the cinema. But yeah, I don't know if that will be possible, because so far they only have 2 dates when they're going to show the film, and neither of them works for us. So yeah, we will see. If they add other dates, maybe we will go. And the same goes for a few other movies, because of course they've all been planned for Halloween night or the day after. And the day after we have dinner with some friends, so obviously not going to the cinema. The Halloween night we already have plans at home. I had never watched Terrifier, obviously. We only watched the first one so far. And I'm not sure if I hated it or loved it, because like on the one side, it was kind of nothing new. It was nothing too special. It was just very gory, very much like slasher vibes, serial killer, crazy man murdering women, and torturing them and stuff. So it was very, very graphic, which I don't mind normally. There were just a couple of scenes that just made me just like, ugh, gave me the ick. There's just, yeah, well, if you know, you know. But I thought it was kind of fun too. And the main thing is that ever since I watched it, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And now I really, really, really want to watch Terrifier 2, of course, before we go see Terrifier 3, if we manage to do that. So yeah, I have to figure out where I can watch that. I have actually also started Feed Them Silence by Mandelo yesterday while I was walking on the treadmill, and I was listening to it just as an audiobook, and I think I need to start again. I listened to the first hour of it, and I'm not sure I get what's going on. I think I just kind of might have zoned out a little bit in some points that might have been important. That's everything for now. I will update you again once I have finished Graveyard Shift. Hello. Yeah, I am trying to explore new angles from which to film. I don't know if it's working or if I'm ridiculous, but I'm here with a couple of updates because I finished Graveyard Shift by Emily Rio. And this book has an average rating of 3.3 on Goodreads. Like, why? I don't get it. I don't understand why, because like an average rating of 3.3 is very low. Like, I don't understand why this book would be hated like this, because like books with that low average rating are Not always, but often, like, actually bad books. I truly am baffled because I really, really loved this book. I mean, it wasn't a 5-star. There was a point in there when I thought it was going to be a 5-star. It did not end up being a 5-star, but it's still like 4.5 maybe. Like, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I've told you about the plot of this yet. It's about a group of, not kids because they're a bit older, a group of misfits who gather in this graveyard at night because they all have insomnia, they can't sleep. They just meet up there and they become friends. Then one night, they find a freshly dug grave in this graveyard where they meet. And the problem is that it's a abandoned graveyard, so there shouldn't be any new graves that are being dug. They decide to investigate and a whole mystery unravels. I personally thought that the atmosphere was like 10 out of 10, especially in the first part when they're actually in this graveyard and in the abandoned church nearby. So that part was excellent. I really, really loved it. When we still didn't have the solution to the mystery, it was just more compelling, I guess. I was more invested. And when we were just still getting to know all the characters. The problem is that the mystery kind of gets solved very early on, which I didn't love that. The solution to the mystery was fine. It was just a bit too early, I think. We should have found out about certain things maybe a bit later on, and it would have made for, I don't know, a better plot. But yeah, the atmosphere was great. The characters felt very realistic, felt very well-rounded, and they all had a very distinct personality. And there was this feeling of found family, which I always love. And there were mushroom-related things, and you know how I feel about mushrooms. So yeah, just this was actually really good. I have not read If We Were Villains. I think I might have mentioned that, but now I want to read it even more. And maybe I'll understand why the fans of If We Were Villains are kind of like hating on this book. This was really nice. And then we also watched It Chapter 2 yesterday evening, which was great. And I preferred Chapter 1, honestly. But I think that also in the book, the part that I liked the most was the part when they were kids. Because, I don't know, it was just more compelling, more interesting. I don't know, I felt like it was maybe a little bit too long. It kind of dragged in some parts, especially there at the end when all the action happens. I was just like, yeah, okay, let's just, let's get it over with. So, yeah, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. This morning, I actually listened to the entirety of the audiobook for Feed Them Silence by Mandelo. I had already listened to like the first hour while I was training the other day, but yeah, I just zoned out way too much. So I just decided to start it again, which I did. And well, I think I zoned out a bit this time as well. When I listen to things as just audiobooks, it's often really difficult to just keep my attention on that, especially if the audiobook isn't like the most compelling thing, which, I mean, it was fine. I gave it 3.5, 3.75 maybe. And okay, so it was the story of, there's this woman basically who gets through some scientific experiments, gets to live temporarily as a wolf, like inside of the mind and body of a wolf. Like their brains get connected somehow. So yeah, it's about this experiment. It's a very short book, so I don't want to say too much, but it was more sci-fi than horror for sure. It was fine. Don't really have much to say about it, unfortunately. It was just okay. The the relationship with the wolf was interesting as much as the relationship of this main character, scientist, with her wife, and like the trouble that develops between them because of this experiment that's taking up all the time and all of the attention of this scientist. And yeah, I mean, it just left me kind of like, all right, done. Maybe if I had read it physically, I could have had a better experience. I might have to maybe reread it in the future. I don't know. Speaking of other things, I think I'm going to close this vlog tomorrow, maybe, because tomorrow is Halloween and I'm very excited. But tonight we're watching Pet Sematary, the original movie, with a friend, and then I want to try to finish one more book before I end this vlog. And it's not going to be a novella because, as I might have mentioned earlier in this vlog, I am also in the middle of this other ebook called She Came for Blood, which is a vampire romance that I'm being reading on my Kindle and that I have not continued. I've kind of like put it aside to read these horror novellas, but I really, really want to finish that before the end of the month so that I can count it in my wrap-up. And I shouldn't have too long left. Like maybe just like 100 pages total. And both today and tomorrow are very busy days, so I don't know. I am just going to try and finish that in this vlog so that I can review it and then include it in my wrap-up, even though it's not horror nor a novella. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm reading it, so why not include it anyways, right? So yeah, I'm going to go read that while I drink my tea. Let's just go back to reading and I'll update you as soon as I have something to say. Hello vlog. If I look a little different today than I usually do, it's because I just finished filming my wrap-up for October and reading plans for November video, which will have already been up for a while by the time you see this. But yeah, that's why I look like this right now. But today is the 31st of October. It is finally Halloween. It's the best day of the year. And I've just finished reading probably my last book for October, which was She Came for Blood by Darva Green, which I told you about yesterday. It's a sapphic vampire romance with quite a lot of spice, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. Like, the ending was so good. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars because, wow, that ending, like, I was going to give it a 3-star. The beginning was very slow and the middle was like, okay, sure, just your typical romantic-y book. And then the ending came around and yeah, I bumped it up all the way to 4.5, even just for that. I mean, there were several good things about the book. I really, really enjoyed the relationship dynamic between Anna and Marzana, although I didn't love that the author chose these names like Anna and Marzana. Like, I mean, Marzana is a cool name, but couldn't the other girl have been called something else? I hate that they kind of, like, that Marzana's name contains Anna. Like, I don't know, that was a bit of a weird choice, I think. But the relationship dynamic was so good. Like, these girls, I wish that there were more relationships like this in romance books, because they were just so good together. I had a blast reading about them, and a couple that in which the two people actually like communicate. Like, yes, I want more couples like that. And yeah, I just really love that. And also the vibes were really, really good, especially towards the end. It gets a little bit more bloody, a little bit more gothic and atmospheric, and way more dramatic. Like, the ending is so dramatic, but I loved it. I really, really did. It really brings in all of the vampire vibes that I've been wanting for quite a while. So I will definitely read more books by Darva Green, and I can recommend this. Like, it's the third in a series, but it can be read as a standalone. Like, each of the books in this series can be read as a standalone, as far as I've seen. Like, it follows a different couple in each, so you can read them in any order you want. And I still haven't read the first two, but I actually might. Now that I've read this and liked it so much, I actually might go back and read the first two. So yeah, that's the last book that I'm probably going to be reading in this vlog. I think maybe I should just end the vlog right here, because I do have some plans for tonight, for Halloween night, of course, but I don't know if I'm going to be vlogging them. We're going to have a nice dinner in which like everything is pumpkin based, and we're going to make some pumpkin ravioli, I think, and some, or let me say it properly, we're going to make some pumpkin ravioli. I am Italian. That's how you're supposed to pronounce that word. But yeah, we're going to make that, and then we're going to make some kind of pumpkin dessert. We're going to figure that out during the day, and we're going to watch probably a horror movie. Probably, I mean, for sure, we are going to be doing that, although we haven't decided on which movie yet. I really, really want to watch Terrifier 2, because I can't stop thinking about Terrifier 1. Like, I watched it a few days ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. So, oh yeah, speaking of horror movies, yesterday evening we rewatched the original Pet Sematary movie, and it was fun. Like, I remembered the first time I watched it, I thought it was actually kind of scary, but I don't know. Yesterday when I rewatched it, I was like, I thought that was scary. It was literally not scary, like, at all, to watch now. Actually, some parts that were supposed to be scary were kind of like just funny or kind of like almost parodies. But it's a good film. Like, I had a great time. I had fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so tonight we might be watching Terrifier 2, or maybe something else. I don't know. We will see. They are technically showing the movie Heretic at the cinema tonight, kind of late, and tomorrow I do have to get up early to go to work. So I don't know if we are going to go see that, although I really, really want to, but we will see. We will see. And then I'm planning on doing some witchy things, maybe some tarot spreads and some rituals that you don't need to know anything about. So yeah, that will be all for this vlog. I guess I will see you in a couple of days when Fabiana comes, and we will be going to Stockholm together. So yeah, I am really excited about the next vlog already. But if you've made it so far in the video, I appreciate you. Write me a comment. Tell me what you've done for Halloween, if you've done anything special, or if you haven't, then just let me know, do you like horror movies and what's your favorite one? If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!